Hi, I'm Josh, and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program. I mistakenly called the last episode the 7th episode, but this is going to be the 7th episode this time. Does that mean I've been doing this for a week? It might. I might still be losing count, but we'll see. I should stop saying that, or should keep saying that in a different way. Right, the most important thing here is that we are going to build, launch, and put into orbit our Munar lander. I'm not going to say lunar because this is aimed for the moon, but we're first going to go by Menace. Now, what I'm thinking here is that this thing is going to have two parts. One giant-ass science lab, and just one lander. And the harder part is going to be the science lab. So that is what we're going to unlock. That's what we're going to build first, because we've already unlocked the science last time as a bit of a consolation prize for having to do routine-esque missions to get money. Now what I am going to do first is I'm going to check if all of my parts that I do have been paid for. And then I'm going to check if there's these are some more of those standard contracts which never expire, so I'm going to get some of these contracts right now. One for Eve and one for Duna. Make sure we lack nothing. Yeah, I can test the basic jet engine. Not gonna do that. Well landed. That's very, very easy to do, actually. But the monetary reward just isn't worth it at the moment. There's a contract to do science data from space around Kerbal, which I am going to accept, because that's just an extra bit of reward, I suppose. And the time we have to do them is really, really good. Test stack separator on a suborbital trajectory. You know how I feel about these. If you've seen the other episodes, you know how I feel about these demands on the location and on the altitude and on the speed. I don't like that very much. I can do this within 10 years, planting a flag on the moon. So I think we're gonna have it done within 10 years, even with time acceleration. So yeah. And what's the completion time for this thing? 1 year. I'm actually not gonna do this. So yeah. Well, time for the meat and potatoes of this episode. Building the science lab that will need to be put in orbit. How did I not? Cannot be the first part on a vessel. I thought I hadn't paid for them. Phew. At least this is a more acceptable explanation. Okay. We're not actually going to attach any science directly to this science lab, because there's no need for it. What we do need, however, is an inline stabilizer for later, and an AI core. Thankfully, we unlocked some of that stuff already, and we also have some Rockamax brand adapters. So this works. Do we have a large flywheel yet? No. This is a medium-sized normal flywheel. That'll do. And do we have any medium-sized? No. What irks me is we don't have enough to unlock the right type of lander yet. So I might actually go back and see what we need. I'm actually going to go back and see what we need to get access to that lander, in terms of how much science we need and what else we get when we purchase it. I think that's going to be... Which part is that going to be? Nope, not those parts. It's going to be these parts. And then we're also going to get we're going to get the large flywheel. And some other really cool parts. So I want these specialized control parts, but they're going to require another 100 science, or almost. So how can we get a 100 science? Well, we did basically exploit all the basic stuff from around here. Ooh, I got an idea. Do we have wheels? Do we have wheels? Do we have wheels? We don't have wheels. But we can't even purchase these wheels yet. Okay. What I was thinking is that we don't have any barometer science or seismic accelerometer science from around KSC, and I think that can end up being around 100 science. So what we are going to do is that we are going to launch a whole bunch of probes this episode. Problem is, I'm not very good with probes. Let's see here. This first part is going to be the Probe 9 Octo, because that has room for something like a battery pack up top. Do we also have the... yeah, we had the FLA10 adapter. There's also the micro version, but I like... actually, let's do the micro version. Yeah, nice and flat. Looks like an inverted tin plate. What do we need? We need this advanced inline stabilizer to keep things under control. Sorry about you, dude. We can reasonably expect to need the Science Junior and a mystery goo containment unit. Yeah, we can put it on one side because this flywheel is going to be more than good enough for to keep things under control, especially if we add a battery to the other side. It makes the flywheel better, and it makes the and it works as a counterweight. Now you can check the weight of these parts, and the weight of this part is 0.02, and the weight of this part is probably going to be 0.15. So not much of a counterweight actually. So I'm actually gonna what are the weight on these things? Nil. Yeah, I might as well put these all around the edge just to make them a little bit more accessible. It's not going to do much for balance. Is there a fourth part we need? Not really. I'm going to set all of these up to be on the same action group, and then I'm going to add propulsion and legs. Push comes to shove, I can even put this thing into a low orbit. Did I already do this? Yes. Push comes to shove, I can also put this thing into a low orbit and go grab some science from other areas on the planet. But if I do that, I might as well put a Kerbal on there. The reason I'm actually not building a science combo yet is because I really want those parts I highlighted earlier. And I really want those parts. I do. Let's add 4 of these. That should be good enough. I did have the rechargeable battery pack. 4 of these should do. An FL200 fuel tank. I actually think that the FLT100 has more than enough fuel. So let's use that instead. And 4 landing struts. I suppose this thing, since the name of Rangari is already taken, let's call this thing the Artificer Mark I, because its reason for being is science and engineering. Let's see how well it does on the launch pad, how much science it can haul in. If even the launch pad can haul in, shall we say, 10 science, then this is a good plan. If not, then this is a bad plan. Pressure, material study, not much. Temperature scan, not much. Seismic scan, pretty good. Yeah, that would be 8, not quite 10. So I'm actually going to move over to the, I'm actually going to move over to somewhere else, wherever else it might be. Is this going to be, yeah, it's going to be that way. Fire. Oh my, this thing's completely uncontrollable. Still on the launch pad. Yeah. Let's try that again. Not this, not... Oh, why does it keep doing that? Okay, may as well keep all the data here. Can I do a crew report? No, I can't. So I'm going to recover this vessel. It's also night. So yeah, this is a screw up that I'm gonna have to eat. It cost me a tiny bit of money, but I did get a bit of science from it, and I recovered most of the parts. I think this thing needs some parachutes to land even more safely. I think a duo of parachutes will do. Just, you know, some idiot proofing, because this thing is way too volatile to depend on in any real way. Right there. I think it's the instability that's doing it. So I might be tempted to add 2 of these, and then 2 of the add 2 of these, and then 2 of these. Now let's see if this thing's still attached to the group 1. Observe mystery goo. Now it is. Right. Artificer Mark 1A. That is adjusted and with parachutes. I'm also, of course, going to add a different stage for the parachutes, because obvious. Yeah. Let's go. Let's see if I can't land this thing on top of the vehicle assembly building, or at least near the vehicle assembly building, instead of crashing into it, which might destroy the vehicle assembly building. How's my battery? It's good enough for now, but if it turns out to be catastrophic, then I'm gonna... Just give me a sec here. How much lift are we gonna need? A little bit more. Good, good. A little bit more. We're going faster and faster because we're not oriented exactly vertical. We can activate the SES. We can let the atmosphere slow us down. I think we can land safely on the vehicle assembly building. I was not careful enough last time. Just like a helicopter. I love it. Lower. The trick is not just to go lower, but it is to go lower slowly. Okay, I'm stuck in a yo-yo loop now. Am I going to risk not using my parachutes? May as well not bother. And we're here. So, yeah. So much stuff. Let's see if this... how much science this can offer me. It would have been far more efficient just to use a rover, but I don't have what I need to have a rover yet. Yes! 23 science. That's near perfect. Okay, let's do this the easy mode way. Oh, yeah, I don't have any space planes yet. Am I going to create a jalopy, or am I just going to launch a new one? I might as well create a jalopy because that won't waste any fuel. So yeah, Probe 9 octo-core, and a little bit of a battery just to be safe. Oh, look at the cute little core. Yeah, the vehicle assembly building has a different orientation for everything. There's no need to put anything but just the science modules on this, so that's exactly what I'm going to do. The science modules and a launch clamp, just to keep things nice and cozy. Staging's utterly pointless. I can either do all the science manually, or I can do it when I've launched. So let's call this the Jalopy 1. And launch. I think I'm going to name all my space planes after paladins. Now I've already got the Munar. Space planes, I don't know. There's plenty of nice Draenei left. Maybe Draenei animals? Maybe. Let's see. Observe mystery goo. Yep, new stuff. This is probably going to be 20-something as well. Oh, the materials show little signs of change, though one of the samples appears to be judging you silently. What's this thing say? The goo seems to behave much the same as it always does around here. Yeah, some mild admonishments for not using any effort, but this is exactly what the science is here for. To just push you over the edge if you need a boost. And yeah, I would be in a bit of an awkward position if I hadn't had this extra science, so I'm very happy for it. And yeah, if you want a realistic explanation for this, it's control groups, baby. Right. Okay, we got 124 science already. So, yeah, time to launch another one. And I need to be careful with this thing. Artificer Mark 1A, might as well delete the Artificer Mark 1. Yep. Mark 1A, and we got... Ooh, Jeffrey Kerbal is very courageous, just not very clever. So let's launch. Apparently in the beta patch, which is this is the last alpha patch apparently, and the beta patch, Kerbals are going to be able to get experience. Sounds fun. And scientists, engineers are going to be doing ship maintenance. Scientists are going to be able to, well, run science better. And you have your pilots who are going to give your nav wall new features, apparently. That's what I've heard from other people. Let's not do this on full thrust. Let's just ignite the engine first, and then slowly build. Ooh, that's sticky keys. Darn it. Yeah, I think this is going to merit a revert. Because that's sticky keys, and that's not my fault, is it? I don't know what it... Oh, never mind. No point complaining. You're playing a video game. Sticky keys is not going to be required. Oh, boy. I'm going to chalk this one up to sticky keys as well. Right. Oh, no. Oh, ooh, I need to put SAS on. That's what I'm forgetting. Nope, that way. Slowly, that way. We're high enough. Let's just go this speed. That away, please. Yo-yo effect. Gotta stop the yo-yo. Stop the yo-yo. Shit. Crap. Oh, darn. Well, that is canonically the last sound on the flight recorder. Yeah, I'm gonna actually revert this because, damn it, I suck. I suck at piloting these things. I never really have to otherwise. Oh well. So let's do this again, only a lot more carefully. Slowly. With a tilt in that direction. Even more slowly now. Decrease our... See, I can do this in theory. I'm just not the most experienced with these things. Oh my. I'm sorry about resetting, by the way. I just feel really bad for blowing that thing up. These are sometimes a bit difficult to control, I hope you understand. I think I'm going to try and make up for it by landing this thing safely. That sounds nice. Then again, I might not succeed. Slow down. Damn, I might succeed. Okay, I should have better faith in my abilities. Then again, I did just crash. Mission control. That's very fitting. We need 160. We need 160. We don't... I think we're going to need one more after this. Math checks out. Math checks out. We get some of our money back. Most of our money back. Now, the question is, did we get some new contracts from this? Basic jet engine landed at Kerbal. I can do this. This does give me 27 science, so I'm gonna do this. So yeah. Ooh, but does this thing? Do I have air intakes yet? I don't, do I? I see. No. Just trust me on this. I think I can just test it by pressing the right button. So I think this is just going to be really easy. You don't even... Now normally jet engines and certain other engines need air to function. Or otherwise just air and liquid fuel is what they need to function. But I think this is going to be the Jalopy R2. This is going to be a very easy another control group test to see how this thing measures up just landed. Question is, does this count as landed or as not having taken off yet? Because I can very easily remedy that by just engaging the clamp. Run test. Yes! Got a contract for 27 science. And let's recover this thing. Awesome. And I got some basic money too. Okay, we have enough, and we got some money, as I said, we got some money too, and we got enough science now to unlock what I think are bare essentials, specialized control is what it's called, for a lander, and that's this Mark I lander can. I really, really love using it. Yeah, and then there's the point of having the advanced SAS, which is also very useful. And this is not another goo container. The goo container got its model from the cylindrified monopropellant tank, which came first. So yeah, let's research this for 160 science and purchase it. We're now rock bottom science-wise, but we can continue building what we had been building first, and that is the... Did I even name that thing? I didn't, did I? So let's call this thing... Let's begin by setting up that science lab again. Now this thing does not count as a control pod, so you do need either an AI core or just a normal command pod. It is tempting to just use the command pod, but I think I'm gonna slum it and attach an AI core. Anyway, I think I'm gonna call this thing the Velen, after the wise and knowledgeable prophet of the Draenei people. Their big leader, grand leader, great leader. Anyway, the terms sound ever more grand and despotic, and that's not how Velen rolls. Program Octo. Because this has the ability of running on AI, and it can fit in here. It's not really supposed to. I just hope I can fit on this, well, basically this lid. I can't. Does this work? Yes. And if I put it lower, it does not work. If I turn this thing around, it used to work. Then again, a lot of things used to work that shouldn't have worked. Okay, how can I integrate an octo-core into this design? I suppose I can do that by using this adapter, cloning it, putting the octo-core in here, and then doing this, and then reinforcing it with struts. Lots of struts. Presto changeo. Actually looks rather cool too. Good. Gonna put a brand adapter here too. I might actually want to add a huge fuel tank. Awesome. This is not too huge a fuel tank, but it's huge enough for my purposes. And I put the gyroscope in the middle of the two to maximize the amount of pull it has. An off-center gyroscope is supposed to be less good. So, okay, I think I can just add. I can do one of two things, but I think I'm going to use the Poodle engine because it's relatively efficient, relatively everything, relatively good. And this thing is going to be very heavy, but it will be able to get into orbit. What I do need to do is add some other trickses, shall we say. Some batteries here. I can actually add them to here. Nah. Look cool, but wouldn't be good. Add some batteries here, and I'm actually going to add 4 photovoltaic panels here and 4 here. Perfect. Now what's going to be absolutely essential is the docking port. I could be bold and attach the lander to this thing immediately. Okay. Yeah, that would work. But that will be a very heavy rocket. Do I I might not have much high tech, but I do have the means to use very heavy rockets almost immediately. So yeah. Reverse the Mark 1 lander can. Put it upside down because that's how it's going to roll. Am I going to add some extra ladders at some point, but not yet. Let's focus on the Velen first. What else does it need? It has a crew of 2. It has its own AI core. Yes, it does, because as I said, crew of 2 can't control this thing. I can excise this part altogether and let it be controlled by Jeb in the pod. That would mean that it's dead. This thing is dead in the water as soon as Jeb with his little lander detaches. So I don't want to do that actually. Speaking of the little lander, I think I want it to have an that fuel tank, this liquid fuel engine. It might be, I don't know, a bit powerful for the moon. Nah, it wouldn't be too powerful for the moon. It might be a bit powerful for something like Menace, but it would be perfect for the moon. So I'm going to add a Science Junior. May as well not invert that one. I am going to make it more, yeah, that works. Okay. Science Junior is going to be attached over there. The problem with off-center goo containment units has already been shown. So I am going to attach 2. Or what I could do is I could attach 1, and then I think, how much does this monopropellant cylindrified thing cost? I think it's in fuel tanks. Yes, it is. 0.75, which is a lot. This is 0.15, which is too heavy. 0.25. That works. Still not entirely ideal, but what you gonna do? Yeah, you could attach the other one, but nah, let's not. Let's just make it a one-trick pony and deal with it. I will need to come back here sometime to gather the gravitometer data, but that's also something you can do with a drone. There's no need for put a Kerbal on there. This is the heavy science exploitation vehicle for the moon. Yeah. This is all you need, really. Yeah. Yeah, of course. And then the landing bits, of course. And RCS. I forget the RCS. Okay, RCS. RCS is cold gas thrusters, which are a lot less powerful, but they're omnidirectional. All this thing gets fueled by liquid fuel. The others can get fueled by, well, RCS fuel. And I do have RCS control down pat. I say that, but I'm actually quite good at it. Better at least than flying around drones. That much I'm sure of. Not that way around. Yeah, you can still get out of your pod, extend the ladder. Oh, that's going to be more than enough. Retract the ladder. I might want some solar panels. Just to keep things nice and cozy. Would there be a point to adding an AI core to this thing? Not really. Of course, it can't hurt. I wish I had the inline AI core, but that's going to be even more science farming. What I could do, of course, is clone this thing. And that's going to be this entire... Okay, that's too much of an abomination for my tastes. No. You're going to go away. And you is what I'm going to clone. Okay. Yay! We're pro buddies. Wonderful. So this thing should have a life of its own if needed. Of course, if this thing crashes and burns, then our poor Kerbals are gonna die. And that's gonna be a problem. Might not be a blow I can survive. I don't know. Extended, that's a bit much. Can I put them up there? No, it's too much. Put them up here. Yeah, perfect. Awesome. Yeah, and I can connect the two with RCS. And more importantly... Oh, I forgot that I can empty this thing out. And I might actually want to move these over here. No, let's do it the other way around. These over here. Whoopsie. I forgot the orientation for a sec. And sorry about scooting everything around all the time. Remove this so that we have the flywheel in the middle once again, and a stable spacecraft. Perfect. Awesome. Now, will I want this thing to have our RCS? Maybe some RCS tanks to refuel this guy. Yeah, where's the other ones, the big ones? These. I want them to have 4? 4 is too much for something this light. Too much. I'm actually gonna remove the fuel from here. And also the RCS, because that's just a little bit more weight. I can always refuel the RCS later. Also gonna remove the fuel from here and here and here, because I don't want to get, all I want for this guy to get is to get into orbit on his own, which is gonna be viable with, I want him to be able to do that last little push, so, I don't know, I can do the entire thing, or some maneuverability would mean this much fuel. I think that's a good compromise. I'm going to put that thing full of that much fuel, and put the staging here, so this thing doesn't, this engine doesn't fire in an inopportune moment, and then before launch you're going to transfer the fuel into there. That would work, I suppose, and I'm actually going to put the science on group 1, all of the science, so that's even the crew report, and the seismic data, and the pressure data, and the blah blah blah. Yep. And group 7 is going to be solar panels. As soon as we finish this rocket, we are not gonna launch it. What we're gonna do is we're gonna end the episode, because this has taken long enough, I think. What else do we need? We need the big decoupler from here. We're gonna just add the rocket. This Velen Mark 1, I don't know. Does it have everything now? It can land, it can come back, it has plenty of RCS thrusters. Is that superfluous acronym? I don't know, I don't care. Right, whatever. This thing. And from here on out, things get very simple and very awesome. Ooh, that's what I was forgetting. We need some extra docking ports, just to be on the safe side. So this guy can be refueled in orbit of Kerbin, and then can be refueled again should the need arise. Alright, so as I said, things are about to get very awesome very quickly. This is as close as you're gonna get to the ultimate thrust stage. No muss, no fuss, just boom. And I think this, in combination with that little extra bit of fuel, can get me into orbit. Yeah. I'm half tempted to add even more fuel to this thing, but really it does make it lighter. A lot lighter, especially when we're dealing with this setup. And the best thing is, this is the best thrust to weight ratio, and it even gimbals. And really well too. So this is like the perfect engine. And guess what we're gonna do, guys? Yep, we are going to add some asparagus staging to this thing. A lot of asparagus staging, because as you might have seen, this thing's huge. That's too much asparagus staging. 6 times is, I think, the best I can get out of this thing. Just need to catch. It just needs to catch right. That's what I wanted to say. Which can be difficult sometimes. There we go. Yeah, and then it's just a matter of adding a lot of struts and fuel lines. So I'm actually going to skip through that. I'm just going to wire them all together, wire them all to the central core, and then I'm going to add fuel lines to make 3 staging groups, as you know. This group, that group, the horizontal group, and then the central one, which is going to run out of fuel last. So I'm going to do a cut, and then we're going to marvel at our final product. Alright then. Isn't it marvelous then? Introducing the Velen Mark I, complete with 6-fold asparagus staging boosters, with tiny wings and their own little conical heads to make them more aerodynamic and beautiful. In all seriousness, though, I think this is going to knock everything so far out of the park. I've added Bill and Bob into the mobile processing lab, so they can, they never have to get out of here, so you won't see much of them. Jeff Rod's going to stay on the ground for now, and Jeb is going to be the first guy on Menace and the moon. There's no way to get back down from space with this thing, so at some point I'm going to have to send a rendezvous, which will get them back down. I think I'm going to use the Mark 1-2 command pod for that, because it has room for 3. And it has a perfect space to fit lots of parachutes and a small docking port. So yeah, I'm going to send a small large-sized rocket up to retrieve them once they've been all across Menace and the moon. But that's for later. For now, I'm signing off. So I will see you in episode telepathy 8. Okay, see ya.